We do it live. It's time for more UCE Nations Cup action here. We're going to Group D, and we're going to have a super fun time. I'm Infinity. That guy is Verdict, and I'm never, ever going to get my directions right when I'm on camera. I always set the camera flipped. Verdict, how's it going, buddy?
Oh man, we're here for the vibes, man. It's going to be great. We're here for Group D. Obviously, we've got some last-minute entries into the mix, but nonetheless, we got a full squad ready to rock and roll. 4 teams going to be duking it out here. We're going to have. It has been a solid affair so far, Infinity, and I'm also grateful to have the opportunity to do this with you, buddy.
It's going to be a fun time, mate. As always, casting with you is adventurous for sure. And we're going to have a fun adventure here. I'm not so sure that anybody but France is going to have a fun adventure today. Let's say that much. Of course, we're going to kick off today's action with France versus Egypt, the first match on. And oh boy, France is a powerhouse roster. Anybody who's watched COD Mobile in Europe knows who these guys are.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you these guys continue to grind even after champs. Obviously, they get the last minute entry into the mix due to a visa issue. Obviously, they want to make sure that they made the most of it. Got eliminated on day one. That's quite all right. This squad absolutely cracked. Pretty much Animus 2.0. Here we go. This is the new team that we're going to be looking at. When you think about Egypt, you think about Paradox, you think about Bear Clan. That's kind of synonymous with it. Right now, we've got. I don't necessarily know too much about the players, but we have some pretty cool names: Stepdad, Mars,
Yep.
Power, Dobby, Awaken. I mean, that sounds like some pretty COD worthy names, right?
Yeah, this is what we were talking about, right, with COD players. Listen, I'm glad that this is Stepdad and not... I've had to cast a
Right?
Daddy before, and let me tell you, there's nothing worse than enthusiastically having to say Daddy when they make a good
Yes.
play. Be much better. But alas, yeah, that will be our rosters for today's matchup. There's also France apparently coming back up as well. These are the maps, though. You can see them in the background. As is always the case here for the first week of action, as will be the case during the second week and the third week, there's basically set maps for every single first round of play across all of the groups. So that means that your Combine, Hardpoint, Fire Range Search and Destroy, and Crossfire Control, if we need it, and that is a big if, they are the maps for every single series. This week, they have been the maps, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, I absolutely like it. I like it when we have a set stage. You don't have to think about the map and mo combos. Everything's just kind of pre-listed. It also gives the players a chance, the opportunity to, go ahead and scrim and get, familiar with these maps. And if they're not necessarily great on it, touch up on a few things. But
Yep.
there shouldn't be any touching up there for Animus. As a matter of fact, the only touching they should be doing is on, the players from Egypt. Because obviously, I'm not trying to be biased, but when we're talking about a stacked roster and we're looking at these group stages, the pool plays, they're fun, but there's always going to just be, a turd in the punch bowl that's just going to disrupt everything. And that is Animus in this group. They should not break a sweat. They should not lose a map in reality. If they do, I'm all here for it. I'm here for the competitive sanctity, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, surprises are always fun when they're nice surprises. That
Right.
is not a nasty one. And look, I think we're asking for a lot here. Ultimately, this is one of those situations where we've got one team on one side that, when we talked about kind of the format of this tournament, where it's like, oh, cool, all the teams are going to be really mixed up, right? It's like, well, Animus aren't going to be mixed up, right? And so they kind of get to keep more or less the same roster. Obviously, Sao returning from exclusive. He is French, so... he will be playing on this team. And then Marvel, of course, coming across from India, from Seoul Esports, or the New Gen Ninjas, as it were, champs. He's coming back to France as well to play for this team. So, yeah, there's a couple of different changes, but for the most part, I mean, these guys kind of get the benefit, right? Of just like, they are just Animus, and they have been playing together for like eons at this point. So, yeah, that whole thing where, hey, all the rosters are kind of up in the air, that doesn't really apply to them.
No, there's always been a French connection, no matter what. I know that at one point in the lifespan of Europe's competitive scene, there was also like a really good Spanish team too that came through and was always very consistent. Those days have passed. Obviously, I believe Spain played earlier in the week, and I believe they won.
Yeah.
I'm assuming France is going to do the same thing, but nonetheless, all the hype, all of the thrills and shills of coming through for our map one, we're getting geared up for it. Brody, it's Combine, as we mentioned earlier. We all know this one's going to be play tight knit just because of how the map is. It's pretty tiny, but it gets very damn electric. Am I right?
Oh yeah, this is always just a really fun one, right? I mean, it's just a constant fights going on left, right, and center. I've always, when I've talked about color casting this map, I've always said, yeah, this is actually one of the more difficult maps to color cast because there's just such little analysis to actually be had, right, in terms of spawn manipulation and, actually just controlling the map and controlling the hard points. I think teams have gotten a lot better at it. Like, I think when we were looking over towards CDM, for example, like, oh god, people are going to get tired of us talking about this, but I think early on one of the rosters that really got kind of a hold on this was OUG, right? And they kind of
Hmm.
quickly showed everyone how to play Combine Hardpoint. Teams have gotten better. Like, I know that Diabolos and Sol were particularly proficient at this map as well. So like,
Hmm.
teams got better over the course of time, and it has become more tactical, but it is kind of still just a total F fest, right? Of just like everyone just running
Absolutely.
at each other, mishmash in the middle of the map.
Oh yeah, they're going to be bashing sites on sites on sites, bodies on bodies on bodies. It's, as you just mentioned, it's very difficult as a color caster to come through and provide any kind of context because there's just so much action happening all across the map. Obviously, we're still panning through, waiting for everyone to load on in through. As we're going to go ahead and take a look at the best of three yet again. Looks like we had a little bit of connection issues. No fear, we'll have game number one coming up just a moment. Combine, firing range, and crossfire preset maps, predetermined. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing cute about it. It's just plain COD, and exactly if you can't win on these maps, too bad.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Like, and this is the thing as well. Like, with these kind of maps, everyone should know the map pool at this point, right? I mean, Combine is the newest addition to the map pool. It's been around for a few months now since Arsenal got booted for stage 3. Since it had like issues going up to champs, I think like people couldn't mantle on certain stuff. Right, was the problem with Arsenal. So Combine's the newest one, but I mean, I certainly look at like something like Fire and Range, Search and Destroy, and Crossfire Control. Maybe you can add Asterisk to the latter because it's been in the map pool in this iteration for about the same time as Combine has, because the spawns got significantly altered. But yeah, I mean, these maps, you should know how to play these maps at this point. If you're going into Fire and Range, Search and Destroy, and you're not relying on like your sniper rifle players to hold down certain angles, you should not be playing Godem at this stage. Like, Fire and Range, Search and Destroy is just like it's kind of a hallmark of CODM, full stop at this point. So yeah, just something to bear in mind. Obviously, everyone who's playing in this tournament, you should know how to play those maps. And if you don't, well, I don't know what you do.
All right, we'll go ahead and get into the action now. If you don't know how to play Combine, ladies and gentlemen, that's just too damn bad. I feel like this is one of those maps where, even teams that are not necessarily the best in hardpoint have the better shot. That's exactly why you saw teams like Diavlos want to play this map. That's why you saw teams, kind of like Soul rather, play this map at first as they progress to get better in different map pools and hardpoint in particular. This is one of those
Mm-hmm.
ones that I would say it's a not necessarily a low hanging fruit, but it leaves the gunfights leaves much to desire as far as maintaining spawns. You get those backside rotations to P2 and P3. You win those gunfights. You just flush through the front. You can get that flip really quick. It's not that difficult. Obviously, I think I'm
Yeah.
having a bit of camera issue. I'm trying to get everything reset. I might reconnect here in just a minute. So
Okay, bro.
if we have an issue with my camera, I apologize. I'll go ahead and see if I can get it corrected.
Yeah, they don't see anyway, mate. Do they really need verdict at this point? Do we actually need his face on board? I don't think we do, honestly. Oh, okay. We're having ping issues in the lobby. You know what? Can we call an audible and go to a break here? Because I don't know how long this is going to be. This sounds like a tech issue that does not sound like it's going to be fixed anytime soon. Can I call an audible? Can I do that? Can we go to break?
That's all you
Can
pick
we go
up.
to break? Alrighty, I'm gonna send it to a break. I think production's gonna be fine with that. I don't think they can actually hear me right now. I'm gonna just put a message in the chat to make sure, because I don't want to be sending it to a break and then not actually recognize that's what I'm going to do. But yeah, I mean, we're going to have the game underway here in just a moment, guys, or at least as soon as we quickly can. Obviously, these are best of 3, so we shouldn't really have any issues with delays over the course of the night, just because of the fact that the series that have finished, I think, have generally finished 2-0, and then you're sitting like waiting half an hour for the next series that will be in an hour anyway. So yeah, delays, not the end of the world. I'm just going to quickly message. While I'm doing that, Verdict, talk to me a little bit as we get later into the series about Fire Range, Search and Destroy. What would we kind of expect for that map once we get past that combine?
I mean, that's pretty plain and simple as well too. This is a map that's been in the Search and Destroy pool for so dang long. If you don't understand the concepts of how this works, and if you don't have a sniper presence on both sides of the map, when you're sniping or when you're attacking and defending, you're gonna have problems. This is wall bang central as well too, so we've seen some creativity with AMs. We've seen creativity with your LMGs that you're not normally seeing in a competitive play as much as you used to in the past. The Holger used to rain terror down on maps like this because everything is literally bangable.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have a good concept of how you play your default setup on defense, or maybe you don't really know how to make that crossover in the trailer to get to the A site and be effective with that, you're going to struggle. And teams like Animus, they're just going to continue to thrive because, I mean, let's be real. They've been around for so dang long. If they don't have chemistry on this map, they shouldn't be playing COD.
Yep, I totally agree. It is that fundamental search and destroy map. It's been in the map pool for eons, and we will see that in map number 2. We'll also be seeing a Combine Hardpoint hopefully sooner rather than later. For now, though, we're going to send to a break. On the other side of this break, guys, we've got Combine Hardpoint between France and Egypt. Don't go far. Alrighty, folks, we promised that it wouldn't be long, and we were not lying. That it makes safe first. It's time for France versus Egypt here in the UCE Nations Cup here in Group D. A reminder that the top 2 from each group will be making it through to the final bracket. So, getting a match win this early on in the competition, that's really important.
Yeah, talking about making stuff happen early on in the competition. Here, the flip already comes through for the boys. Oh, France, that's right. So hard to be making that audible call there towards Animus, but the French, nonetheless, going to be able to take advantage of a little bit of a flip as well as some time coming through. So 13-5 is the score count on 30 seconds left here in P1 right now. Looks like Narcs is just going to be throwing shoulders in the middle of the lobby. Who's going to contest? Nobody's here. Awaken. Oh, big gunfight. One there by him, but the trades are in blue. So is the feed. So is the hardpoint time. So flip, again, when you push too hard into this objective, you're going to get that flip really quick there.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, as we kind of said there, mate, France just kind of immediately goes straight forward to the middle of the map, try and get some time over P1. And yeah, they kind of don't get the dominant control of the spawns that they wanted. But kills now starting to come through here. Only 1 player left, and that's really unfortunate, isn't it, for Egypt? They get overwhelmed, and that is just the power of France, right? Yes, you don't have those P2 spawns, but not only do they get time over by P1, as Shark will double up, they actually get those rotations in towards P2 as well. So this is not a nice start for Egypt.
No, it's not indeed. Obviously, we're talking about how dominant this French roster should be here in this one. So far, they're handling the business. Flush on through the front. 2 players stacking, and Mars going to be able to get a double. And that's going to allow a little bit of time and alleviate a little bit of the pressure. 15 seconds into this objective. A good flip is necessary. Now you got to win your gunfights on the objective, and here comes Whoa, buddy. Wow. 6 speed. Wow. Talking about put them in the blender. Buddy, they have families. What are we doing here, Sawo?
Oh my god. Sawo, the Frenchman. I say the Frenchman. Everyone on this roster is French. Running through Egypt at the moment, and he is not stopping as well. He's already got an EMP. He's currently on technically a 2 spree per the game, but there was, what, 7 or 8 kills by way of the claw there? So, yeah, Sawo doing it all for France, and Egypt just look totally fried right now. They are desperately trying to find any time whatsoever they can get into these hard points. Sawo finally gets cut down on their transition in towards P3, and, well, Egypt, they will get first look at this hard point, but given how proficient France have been at breaking these hills so far through the first couple, I doubt they'll hold control of it.
No, we'll see. Here comes a hit for the boys from France. Shark leading the pack, looking to get something through this side entry. Gonna wait for the cavalry to come through. Sawo and Narc's gonna be doing God's work. Oh my god, Shark a little shaky on the shots there. Dobby gonna be able to find a nice 2-piece. Master is serving his best right there on that one. Nonetheless, it is still the French on the objective. Even though the backside spawns are in yellow, Egypt struggling to get out of that spawn, and surely enough, they were gonna be 5 stacking it right on through. First one enters the equation. Awaken gets shut down. Keiru looking to get a little involved and Mixie involved with it as well. So far, I mean, this is just a dominant France performance. If I'm just saying, there ain't really much to say about this P3 objective other than they're getting smashed at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, this back spawns are giving Egypt something to talk about, I guess. They're continually getting presence in towards the hard point. Power gets a couple of kills there with the Sparrows. So Egypt have something of note off the back of this hard point. This is certainly the best we've seen from Egypt all game long. But now we're looking towards the next hard point, and this is where France are going to start to shine. So we're going to start to see those roaming SMGs take control, and Says and Narcs and everybody on France doing exactly that. They're getting all the kills required, and Egypt just getting absolutely burned out of the hill.
Yeah, they are indeed. 108-39 is their scoreline through this first set of hills so far. 45 seconds left here to go in P4. The French absolutely giving them the business for the time being. Power going to be able to win a gunfight on the front side. They're all smashing and funneling through. Awaken's going to be able to find a nice two-piece, but isn't going to mount too much. As you can see, the feed yet again lighting up blue. Predators coming through. The French absolutely plowing them through on this objective, and this is one of those mixy ones where you can see a contest come through from pretty much any and every angle, and they are just, I mean, the French are just reading it perfectly right now. Sawo going to be able to pop the claw, gets a two-piece. I mean, it's just clinical performance so far from him.
Yeah, I mean, it just is, right? Exclusive. This is what Sauer was doing at Champs, right? You think about kind of how important he was to, you know, exclusives run at Champs through Hardpoint, I think, in particular. Never mind the fact that they did kind of technically face top 16 at that event, but we didn't talk about that. Their Hardpoint was exemplary, and I think part of the reason that was the fact that Sauer was on that roster kind of slaying out more often than not. So he's doing that here again. 29 kills to his name. Say's not that far behind at 23. France are outslaying the opposition at every turn. They got 40 points off P1 last time, and Egypt, they can't let that happen again.
Yeah, they can't let it happen again. Second set hills starting off to be a little bit more rough as well. You can see they're spawning in, they're done. They're spawning, they're dying, they're spawning, they're dying. It's just madness right now. Gunfights being won there from Dobby. 14 on boards. Got the Sentry gun. Has no idea where he's going with it. Okay, there's one. There's two. Big shots coming through. Gets one half on the opposite side. Sawo going to finally be able to be the answer back on through. It's Stepdad getting involved now on the insides of the, or outer sides of P2 nonetheless. So far, so good here for the French. They are just, again, as I mentioned earlier, plowing through Egypt, and Egypt just really not having any kind of answer back other than maybe having these spawns for P2.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the thing though, right? They had the spawn P2 last time and they got broken almost immediately. And you look at the operators that France have, obviously. It does show that they've got 5. They don't. Narcs, you don't even need 5 when Narcs is on the board because those spawns, they're in danger.
Oh boy. Someone call 911. They're in danger. They're just going to play this to the front. I mean, that's just how objectively powerful those gunnies are for the French. Predator missile going to go ahead and clear the back lines. One's going to spawn through. It's a split for the time being. We'll see Dobby run through. Crash dummying it. This time around, Narcs just continuing on with the spree. 3 with the gunny. Plenty with the operators and the streaks. And surely enough, the French just continue to eat, and eat here in the P2 site. They're not going to be able to close it out here. No, they won't. We're going to get a guaranteed P3, but surely enough, they'll be able to close it out there on that one if they maintain the, you know, the reasonable amount of time here in this one. Bar miracle.
Yeah, this is not looking good, is it? Yeah, they won't be able to finish things here, regardless of what happens. It's the fact that Sauer is all on his lonesome, by the way, in scrap time, and he's just single-handedly holding it off. Will be denied a second EMP here in this one, but Egypt still spawning at the back of all. They've got to transition through the middle of the map towards the next hard point. That's something they had last time around. They don't have it here. France, 18 seconds away from an indomitable victory to kick off this best of 3, and they have to win this next wave of gunfights. Egypt, they want a chance of holding on to this game.
Yep, Egypt, get the break. Animus, oh, I'm sorry, the French. You've got to hold the line. This is it, the last call. A chance to get a break here for Egypt. Up the staircase, Stepdad shutting them down. He has done it. All we need to do is see... Okay, French, I see you. Get on the objective. 3 seconds remaining. 2, 1... Is your game 1 winner.
I really hope that got picked up on broadcast because it peaked in Discord. And I was like, I'm really hoping that came through on the VMix. Someone's going to tell us. Oh my God, man. Hilarious. Beautifully played from France in that game as they take game number 1. Let's take a look at this one. Sawo, 46 and 13 from the man. What was that? I think I might have been 2 EMPs this game. I'm not entirely sure he actually got the second EMP inside P2, but both times around, he whipped out that claw and he slapped it around the face of Egypt.
Oh, yeah, he did. All right. They did a lot of whipping out here in this one. 46-13 Sabo, 35-14 saves. Shit, I mean, I'm not. We're just not going to talk about stats, man. Let's just move on to game 2. This one's done. Okay, Egypt got cooked. That's okay. It happens. It's COD. We're moving on. Firing range. This is where you get a revamp if you are, fighting for that game 2. Obviously, to stay alive here in a best 3, you've got to take it if you're Egypt. France. I mean, if I don't continue to see pure dominance, I'm going to be upset. We need a quick 2-0. That's no disrespect to Egypt. Just based off of what we just saw, let's just get it over.
Yeah, get it over and done with. I think that's kind of the way this goes. Look, Firing Range, Search and Destroy. It's one of those weird ones where, historically speaking, even from when I first started casting Call of Duty Mobile, Firing Range is always one of those ones where, technically speaking, if you're kind of the David David versus Goliath, if you will, you can kind of play around the over aggression of your opposition, and I think that's one way you can kind of go into this. If that, you know that France are going to be firing all cylinders, going into Firing Range S&D. They're going to be kind of coming at you super duper aggressively. I don't think they're going to be playing patiently whatsoever. And Egypt can theoretically play around that. Like, they can play passively. They can sit there and wait for that kind of aggression from France. The only worry I have, I think, going into this S&D is that, well, they also kind of have to win those fights, right? Like, you can be patient, you can wait for that over-aggression to come your way, but then you need to follow that up with getting the kills, and I don't necessarily know if Egypt have the source.
I don't think I could set it any better in that instance. Obviously, we're looking at a very stacked French roster and an Egypt team who might be, trying to make a come up. Obviously, when we were talking about that Egypt roster that, we think of in mind, we think about the Bear Clan that represented Africa as a nation, as a continent, as a whole. That isn't the roster that we got here in this event. So
yeah.
I'm not saying that it would be any different, but it would definitely make for a better storyline. Just based off of what we saw in their performance, and they're up and coming, so there's still a lot of hope for Africa. It's just at this particular moment, if we're not getting the top of the top, it's just, you just saw the combine. Put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, it's difficult. Look, I don't know what way back into the series is for Egypt, ultimately. I think the difficult thing is you are literally going up against one of the best teams in Europe. Like, this is
one of the best search and destroy teams, too, in Europe as well.
100%, right? I mean, if there's one thing that exclusive struggled with at Champs, it was search and destroy. Animus, I think, more or less consistently beat them in that mode back in stage 4 of, I was going to say SPS, but SPS doesn't exist anymore. Stage 4 of the Call of Duty Mobile World Championship 2025. God, that's a mouthful. But yeah, I mean, they S&D, it feels like it was definitely Animus's ball game. Sao was probably the best S&D player on that team in multiple different points. Says, I think, is another guy that you kind of need to give a lot of love to. Narcs, I think there's just a lot of S&D prowess on this team. So yeah, it's very difficult to find a way back into the series now. You have to feel if you're Egypt. If we talk big picture, though, obviously it's worth saying that ultimately 2 teams do go through from Pool D. Later on today, we've got Senegal competing for the first time. I don't even know who's playing on Senegal because they'll be replacing Italy in this group. And there's also South Africa. I don't know which South African team. I don't even actually got an answer to which South African team is playing in this one. But yeah, we'll figure that out. We've got that as a second game. So even if you do lose this, is my point, if you're Egypt, it's not necessarily the end of the world because you do have another couple of matches to go. You still can make it through to bracket play.
All right. Words of encouragement. Love to hear it from Brody. Let's go ahead and hop into the action. Game 2, Egypt. Stand up if you hear me. Kairu, okay, buddy. All right, you're him. We get it. Power, biting the bullet quickly. Smash over towards the B side. Or A side, rather. There are plenty of trophies. Okay, Dobby. Shark, what the heck?
Wow.
16-second round, buddy.
Oh my God. Shark just blended them up. I would love to have kill cams in Call of Duty Mobile just solely so I could have seen that from his POV. I have no idea what happened. He just went through 3 of them just like that. France, off the back of Shark's prowess, will take round number 1. In towards round number 2 they go, and I imagine this is where you're going to start to see that aggression come into play as Shark is on the hunt.
Brother. He smells blood in the water. Kairu going to be able to collect there. The assist going to come in effect. And now they're just, I mean, throw defaults out the window. This is just no respect. This is just blunt force trauma right through the middle of the map. They are not giving anything away to this Egypt roster. Mars going to be able to make him pay. Dobby as well. Shark there for the trade. He is unkillable at the moment. 5 kills in the feed for him.
Well, this is more or less what I was talking about, right? With Egypt playing around that aggression from France. They know it's coming. They're playing patiently, and they will get another trade-off. That's a big play to take off the board to Shark, but unfortunately, the problem with playing passively is that you can kind of get caught in your own spawn and stuck there. That's exactly what's happening now. Dobby has to pull off a 1 versus 2. Does he earn a sock?
Okay. Free shot. 1v2 clutch up for grabs. Oh, saves. Don't get put on a t-shirt, buddy. Is going to be able to retreat on through. 50 seconds left to go. Bomb still in the carrier's hand. Dobby trying to make their rotation on. Says realizes what's up for grabs too. The rotation onto the backside now. He's reading it perfectly. Timing could not have gone Dobby's way. Says pin the tail on the donkey.
Oh, man. Dobby is not a free elf. He will go down on the 1v2. And France up again. And again, Egypt played that well, I think, for the most part, right? You kind of play back into what your spawn. France get over aggressive. You play for the trades, and it does come down to a 1v1 in the end. Nice nade over the top to take Shark out the first round here. Now you just have to take out one more, and it is Sour that awaits you inside B. You take him down as well.
Okay.
Awaken's having a big round here.
Big round. This could be the one that's crucial. Maybe the turning point. Narcs says not so fast. You can't have this side for free. Is able to find the first in return on the wrap there. Say's going to have his back too, and that is a big gunfight. And all of a sudden, as you said it earlier, you get aggressive, you get stuck here. You got conservative last round, you got stuck, and Narcs is just having his way with you, right? No way, brother. What are we watching here? 4 kills for Narcs that round. Just one shy of the ace.
I died, bruh. If it was Shark in round number 1, it was Narcs in round number 3. Oh boy, the SMGs are shitting on Egypt. 3-0 right now are France. Just a few rounds away from calling match on this series. First player already going Kayri's way, and here we go. I love the play call from Egypt. Get aggressive, get in towards A, get that rock down, make the round in your favor. Make France come to you.
Yeah, but they're doing something very horribly. That's kind of funneling on into the site. There's nobody watching the back, and look at this. Maybe they can just hold on for dear life in the trailer. May not be the case, though, as Narcs and Sawo left on their own. Big shot there from Awaken. That might be... Well, as soon as I say that, hold my shots as Sawo. 1v3 up for grabs, minute 18. Bomb still yet to go down. And I mean, you flood the site, you get, I mean, a few kills, and it just, I felt like they didn't really make the most of it. This rotation is desperately needed, though. So go head over to B. Brody, 2v1. Can they clutch it up?
I definitely think it's possible. Technically speaking, they're in the better position here. Of course, Sao with the sniper rifle in hand and the switchblade in the back pocket. He is well equipped for this one. Players also pretty separated here. So Sao, if anybody can do it, it's going to be him. He's got these guys separated. He's got different 1v1s to take. But time is starting to drain away from the clock.
Oh, he's slapping him in the hard point right now. He's a little uncertain. Shots not shaky, though. Switchblade, best friend. Back pocket warrior. Sawo now on Dobby. 1v1. Oh. Okay, Sawo, you got to hit. Oh! Point blank, buddy. Wow. What a shot.
Sawo, you naughty, naughty boy.
He knew what he was doing. He knew exactly. He was like, I want to do it for the Vine. I want the clip, buddy. Put it on Instagram. Put it wherever you guys consume short form media. That was nasty.
Oh my God. That was crazy. Yeah, Sawo was just like, yeah, I know this is going to be a clip on Twitter. Someone's going to get this in the COD Mobile Esports community. Yes, we will. We'll do it for you, Sao. Incredible snipe from him. Closes out the 4th round for France now. And Egypt, I think, is starting to run out of ideas here. Sao, he's got some fresh ones. How about a PKM in the round?
I mean, I said it earlier. Like, this is one of those maps you can probably get away with it, but let's be real. This class is not. It's not serious. He's just having fun right now. And this is, just another day at the office. They're swarming wood as all get out. Deacon gonna be able to get the trade. Shark able to get the consumption there. Awaken is stuck in spawn. Nonetheless, Mars doing God's work. No, he's gonna get shut down. Narcs and Says left in a, well, make it Says left in a 1v2, but Awaken was AFK off the beginning of this round. Looks like he's gonna continue to sit back in the spawn. That's tough.
It was Sour last round. Now it needs to be Says again. Same kind of situation. You've got the player split up here. First kill. Oh, through the wall is good. And now it's Awaken on the hunt.
Brother. That, I mean... I mean, if there's a way to lose a round, that's it right there. Let's go ahead and get up in that tower, buddy. That's mad disrespectful. I mean, like, listen. Yikes. All right, payoff round. We got one in favor of Egypt. Awaken again off the backs of the respawn, or the next round. It's going to be a little AFK. Nonetheless, he is fully in connected. Everyone tightly in their corners. Looks like we're going to buckle up for an A-hit. Only 2 players to deal with. I say only 2 players, but let's be real. It's Says. Says not missing. Finally going to get shut down as Deacon is going to be able to find 2.
Alrighty, hold on. Egypt starting to put together some kills here. France have been at a disadvantage for the last few rounds, and well, that will continue here. Sao down for the count. That's a big player to take off the board. Narx is still hanging about the site, though, and I was going to say he can maybe have got the clean kill against Dobby. This would have been a much more simple round, but now he has a multitude of fights to take, and all of a sudden, Egypt starting to get their shizzle together here. A couple of rounds of the bounce, and they are well in the conversation with this S&D.
Okay, the pendulum have shifted. The momentum. 2 rounds in a row, they're feeling it. You give them one, they'll take... you give them an inch, they'll take a mile, right? That's the same theory here. Bomb's going to be left in spawn, going to be collected. Shark and crew looking to buckle up, hit this A site. Dobby, okay, buddy. Whoa, Crew, shut down. Solo as well. Dobby, you're a madman, buddy.
Dobby has been given a sock. He's getting kills now. And Says and Shark now need to pull off a very difficult situation.
Oh,
Dobby, not
my
again!
God.
Give him the ace. Give Dobby the ace right down now.
You gave him a sock, you give him the ace. You know where he's at, Dobby. Oh, that's tough. Says now in a position to do the same exact thing. Flip side. Wouldn't be as enjoyable as the boys over from Egypt, but hey, we'll take it where we can get it. Not going to happen here. Says shut down 1v5. Last man standing. We'll see you next round. 4-3. Deficit starting to get a little shorter.
Egypt have really gotten into this one. Dobby is the one that pulls them through in that round. Dobby has, I think, been real piecing in this search and destroy on the whole. That's a big player to take off the board, though. Awaken's also been a nuisance with the shotgun, so him being down is big for France. And they are being super aggressive here. And they've pushed Dobby out of the sights. And now all of this for Egypt on the defense. Down to Deacon. He's chilling inside the trailer. If he goes down, this is going to spell disaster. But he will hold for the moment.
He will hold for the moment. The door's been breached. Deacon's going to get dropped. The trades are through. 2 for 1. Bomb's been collected. Heading over towards the A site. They've got plenty of clearance. Mars trying to hold on for dear life. Power going to be able to find one in return. As Dobby does get traded out. Mars out of the equation. Power in a 1v4. Can he do it? No. Not going to happen. 5-3. Just 2 more rounds away from putting Egypt down in a 2-0 fashion. Or we see that spark in the comeback. Obviously, we just saw 3 rounds in a row. They could find 3 more, right?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is possible. Again, Egypt have really given France a difficult time over the last few rounds, so they've looked down so better. They seem to have adapted well to what France have been putting down on the table. It's this kind of play, right? Deacon pushing all the way up the map, but he has to find value in this one, and he doesn't. Boy. He almost immediately gets shut down. And now, even worse, you've lost Dobby in site control as well. So France now have full control of the A site, and the other couple of players, they were over by B, so they have to make a transition, and it's so difficult when France are hunting you down.
Yeah, it's so difficult when France is hunting you down, and they're not even playing the objective. They just want to kill you. I mean, this is downright disrespectful. This is madness. Chat, we're not watching Search and Destroy. It's a 5v5 team deathmatch. And surely enough, France, I mean, continuing that same disrespect that we saw on the Combine here in the Search and Destroy. We saw a little glimmers of hopes there for Egypt, but past 2 rounds been a little bit too much to handle.
Just one more big round for France, and this series is done. Oh, Sour's been given the runaround by Dobby. He will continue to piece up here, and now it's time for Says to pull off something amazing. 1v4 on the cards. He has to get it done. Whiffs the first shot. That's not the best look.
We'll see a fresh one. We'll see if he can follow up with a second. Okay, they're up top wood. Oh, yeah, they're tagging you, buddy. Dobby going to be able to collect. Not even sniper needed to shut you down. It was a shotty. Not quite sure where he was at. They were literally just trying to rally around the troops and, you know, get you pinned down in the backside of the showers. Do the dirty work. Right now, dirty work just needs 1 round done for France, and this one is a 2-0. Egypt hanging on by a thread.
It does feel like they've had an ample response to what France has been putting down the last couple of rounds. But again, it's been whether or not they've been able to hold on to A-site control. That really does feel like the key differentiating factor between Egypt winning a round and not. They are trying to hold that control of the trailer part. Awaken being here is everything. They have to keep France at arm's reach. Also player on the flank potentially in power as well. Awaken goes down. Power needs to find something. He cannot. And now it's all down to Mars for a 1 versus 4.
Oh, good trigger discipline. Don't matter. Says. Pulls up from half court. Does not miss. And France. Oh, they got that one too, man. Take it in a 2-0 fashion, 7-4 there in the firing range as we close out our first series. Brody, France was everything that we anticipated them to be.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You can say that for sure. I mean, this is a team that's been at the top, the upper echelons of competitive European Call of Duty Mobile for the longest time. And so for us, it just really isn't that much of a surprise whatsoever, is it, that they are able to take that search and destroy away and also take the series away in indomitable fashion. Shark, of course, closing out 11-8. Sao, Says, Narks, even Keiru, I think, to a certain extent, had all of their moments in that game. I do want to give some love to Dobby, though. I think it's fair to say Dobby in that game, I think as well, to a certain extent, Deacon and Awaken, even though he's only 6-8. They all kind of had their moments, but Dobby is the one, I think, that was sniping his ass off in that game. And 100%, I mean, it kept Egypt in the conversation, albeit they had a quiet voice.
I mean, we've all been there before. Sometimes, it just happens. This is COD. You're going to get in a lobby with players who are significantly better than you at some point. It's all about how you handle that. And obviously we get to see, spotlights of greatness at times. Dobby was a masterpiece. It was really fun and exciting to watch. Unfortunately, just not enough to get the job done. So it happens in COD. Don't be down on it. Obviously, you still got a long journey here in UCE Championships, the Nations Cup 2025. That's going to conclude our first series, Brody. We're going to send it to a short break on the opposite end. We'll have another series bacon ready for you, okay?
Welcome back, everybody, here to the UCE Nations Cup 2025. We're in Group D, and we have our final match, not just of the group or the night, but actually the week here. We have South Africa going head-to-head with a late addition in Senegal, who will be replacing Italy for the remainder of the competition. I'm Infinity, that's Verdict. We just got to see France give a walloping to their opposition. Are we going to see the same kind of thing here in our second match of the night?
I have a strong feeling it's going to be a yes as we go ahead and roll the clips there for the teams that's going to be playing. That's Senegal, No Limit, Spider, Luke, Supreme, Kira. Is it Kirua?
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 Kirua. I'm going to say
Kirua.
Kirua.
I kind of skipped it at first. I was like, nope, you're not going to get me there. Let me just go ahead and roll through the ones that I absolutely know I can pronounce.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, someone will tell us. Someone will shout at us in chat inevitably if we've got the pronunciations
All right.
Incorrect. South Africa, on the other hand, we have Toxic, Nundi, Muji, Logan, and Danny. Obviously, I think that's Daniello, I want to say, is the shorthand for. But yeah, I mean, this is a team that everyone knows well enough, pretty much. This is much about the Paradox team that's been competing together for a really long time now. We saw Paradox back in the EACS 2025 Championship, and they didn't do that well, I would say. I think they somewhat impressed. They took a couple of maps off of, I want to say it was NRW, potentially. But that was really about it. It was Ace, actually, excuse me. It was Ace they took a couple of maps off. That was really about it. So to see South Africa in the competition, I think, was really interesting. And let's here's a look at our best of 3 map set then. I've never seen this one before, Verdict.
This is a newly added addition to the map pools and rotations and whatnot. Combine for the hardpoint? I feel like we may have seen that here recently. I'm not too sure. Fire Range, Search and Destroy for game number 2 and Crossfire Control. You already know these map pools and these rotations certainly going to be resonating kind of, newly. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. I'm trying to BS with you, man, but it's just so dang hard. It is what it is. Combine, Firing Range, Crossroads, or Crossfire, not Crossroads. I got a slip up on that a couple days back. Let me just tell you, they're not the same maps. No, not at all.
No, they're not. Yeah, sometimes it happens, mate. It is what it is. Happens to the best of us, happens to the worst of us as well, apparently. But that being said, yeah, those are our maps. We saw Combine earlier on, Verdict, and it is always a mixy one. I mean, we literally saw France absolutely slap the hell out of Egypt on that map mode combination. I think it is you just have to make sure you hold down those P2, those P3 spawns. If you lose those, you ain't winning this map.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not winning your gunfights either, man. When you're you got a guy on the opposite side of the screen going 45 and 16. I mean, you're just not going to win. I know it's an objective-based game, but numbers like that, they prove to be successful time in and time out. So obviously the gunnies where you got to focus at first, and then the rotations obviously will come along with that. So Mars came in chat. He's like, dude, this is our first game officially. I'm super proud of our team and how we played, literally being thrown into the pits, into the lion's den. You were absolutely destroyed, but you held on and you learned something today. Obviously, if you're getting beat that bad, there's somewhere where you can go back and rewatch the VOD. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, don't watch that VOD. It's chalk, buddy. But again, as you progress throughout your Call of Duty mobile journey, you'll realize that who you face was absolutely impeccable in this particular region.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's always difficult, and first game, frame 1, playing somebody like Animus. That's what we talked about earlier for Egypt.
Yeah.
They still did get handled on this map, and we saw why the squad like Animus, I mean, just ran through them like 40 seconds on P1. I think it was kind of almost like a how to not play that map in a way. It wasn't like we were playing anything badly. It's just like of the list of things you do not want to do on that map, they did pretty much all of them, which is gave a wealth of time away on what is supposed to be the mixiest hill on P1, which is a hill you never really see much more like 25 seconds go the way of either team on that one. It was like a 40 to 45 second lead early on for France in that game, and then they lost the spawns for P2 almost immediately, and then lost the preceding amount of time with the back of that hard point, and then we got to P3 and kind of so on and so forth. Everything that went wrong for Egypt in that game did go wrong. Everything that could have gone wrong, did go wrong for Egypt in that first game. So something I think that if you're Senegal here, I mean, maybe I'm being presumptive, but I feel like a lot of people who know at least what South Africa has brought to the table in the African region, or Paradox in particular, I feel like everyone kind of feels like Paradox are the animus of this matchup. Like, I think Senegal have to avoid those pitfalls here as we get into this game.
I mean, absolutely. Gunfights are going to be crucial here off the rip. you're allowing 30, 40 seconds. It's going to be very telling here in P1. Learn the mistakes of the teams you just watched. Obviously, if you're competing in the UC Nations Cup 2025, I would hope that you're watching the streams too. I mean, if you're not watching, how are you learning or how are you able to progress? That is my question to you. But nonetheless, Senegal got their work cut out for them, as you mentioned it. Paradox, I mean, no stranger to being a top team in Africa, South Africa in particular, best team representing from that region alone. But something's got to change for this African region, though. I have, I don't know exactly why. Maybe you can elaborate on it, but is there a reason that they play their stage 4 and you have to play with players who are from the
Oh,
same
mate.
country? Is that
Yeah,
is that
don't. It's a dumbass rule. That's all I
okay?
can tell
All
you.
right.
I have no idea what the reasoning is. I think
I
it's
didn't know if it
because
was
they wanted to do.
political or anything like that.
I don't think so. As far as I'm aware, I think it was just like they just wanted to have qualifiers from each individual country and have all of those countries play like one championship and what have you. So you could have like Egypt versus South Africa, or I'm just trying to think what other. I don't actually remember what other countries competed in like the actual playoffs, because I know that obviously Egypt and South Africa were like the top two. But yeah, I mean all the various different countries. But yeah, it was a really silly rule, and I hope that they get rid of that in future and they just have like qualifiers from across the
Yes.
continent, because it feels pretty freaking stupid to have this kind of weird rule whereby they have to play it by one country, because it's just like you just don't get the best of the best players, right? There are good players on Paradox, for example, that probably could have benefited Bear Clan champs, right? I know that
Yeah.
Darix came in and he definitely helped them. They wouldn't have had him if that rule was in place for champs. So at least they managed to bring Darix on the team.
There we go. We'll take a look at the rosters yet again. We are still waiting for everything to load on through for game number 1. Senegal, No Limit, Curia, Spider, Luke, and Supreme. No substitutes on this list. Of course, representing South Africa, pretty much the same team that we saw in Paradox coming through. The typical roster without Simsi is the only thing I will say. I don't know if he's much needed here in this matchup. We'll see Toxic, Nundi, Muhi, and Logan and Danny taking advantage of whatever they can here in this opening break. But thoughts before we go into it? Is there a shot
Mm-hmm.
Senegal? I know we don't really know too
Oh,
much about the team. In Combine, I feel like there's an opening for some upsets, right?
yeah, I mean, look, listen, the element of the unknown is always kind of involved here, right? The fact that we don't know too much about these players, we don't know too much about the team. They could come out and they could be some of the best players possible. That's happened before, right? In previous kind of COD-M tournaments, you'll get a couple of players at least that maybe we've never heard of and that will come out and perform really well. That's kind of the nature of having an open esports system like Call of Duty Mobile has, that, yeah, there'll always be kind of new, fresh talent coming through. There's definitely a shot for them to kind of make it against a roster like South Africa here, but it does feel like they're up against it ultimately. I think, there's kind of no other way to dice this other than to say, you see what South Africa has brought to the table over the last year in Call of Duty Mobile, what they were able to do in EACS, and it definitely is worth bringing up. So that being said, folks, we're about to get into game number 1 here. A reminder, these are best of 3 matchups. So all either of these teams need to do is win 2 maps. They do not need to see a control. I don't think we've seen a single control, I want to say, the entirety of this tournament thus far.
All right.
I could be wrong. Perhaps we had one yesterday. I'm not entirely too sure. But still, yeah, just got to win 2, and then you're through with your first match victory, which in this kind of format, Verdict, is really important.
It is indeed. South Africa, Senegal, their chances to put their names on the board as winning 2 off the opening rip. We haven't seen a control, as Infinity just said, and I'm sure we'll get to the point where we will see some control games coming through here in the UCE Nations Cup. I don't believe we're going to see it today. It's been the trend so far. If production can, maybe if anybody knows it off the top of their head, obviously we'd like to know. But I didn't see any controls off the film that I've watched, so maybe
Right.
I'd brush through it. But nonetheless, we're gonna get geared up for it. Aerial view here in Combine. It is going to be a bloodbath. We all know the up close engagements there, and the PowerPoints for this first objective going to be absolutely crazy.
Yeah, for sure. I believe players are not in the game just yet. I'm going to check what's going on with the game again. Oh, we're having ping issues again. Can I send it to a tech break? Can I do that right now? Can I do that? Yeah, all right. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing, guys. Because we're having ping issues. Would you believe that players from different countries playing each other produces ping problems? We're going to send it to a break. On the other side of this break, we have Combine Hardpoint. Do not go far, folks. Get yourself a cup of tea and settle down, because South Africa versus Senegal is on the other side of this. Whoa, what's this? It's Call of Duty Mobile. It's time for more Combine, a hardpoint, folks. Senegal versus South Africa. Who will make a good impression on us to kick off this series?
All right, we'll see how it is going to happen now as the long-awaited Senegal-South Africa matchup starting here. P1 again, as we mentioned, very mixy. As of right now, South Africa doing not South Africa, Senegal doing an amazing job of holding the objective. May not be winning the majority of those gunfights, but hell, you've got a hill kit into Senegal, and oh wow, he can do both. Big guns fights on the outskirts. Nundi, he's doing a great job of doing cleanup. Hello, this is a very, very calculated P1 here for the boys over at Senegal.
Yeah, just a heads up, by the way, I believe the names are flipped incorrectly here. So South Africa is actually in the lead right now.
Awesome.
I think Senegal is actually, yeah, that makes a hell of a lot. I was
I'll
saying
hold that
Danny
that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, and I was just like, yeah, I don't think he's a Senegal.
What the hell? What did Verda drink on break?
You know what? Listen, it happens to the best of us, mate. Yeah, everyone goes through it in casting. They'll have their names flipped, and it does throw you off a lot. So, yeah, South Africa is actually in the lead. There you go. It now has been changed to reflect that. So, yeah, South Africa, a phenomenal start from them right now. They are in control of P1. They're getting about 30 seconds of time away from it, and they're continuing to, I think, as well, actually apply pressure to Senegal. That's the main thing. Keep as far away from P2 as possible. The issue I have right now, the stress I want to say, nobody was towards that back P2 spawns. Nobody's locking that in. So that is incredibly volatile. They want to be careful just in case somebody from Senegal spawns behind.
Absolutely. A better team definitely would make mincemeat of that and take advantage of it. Right now, Senegal, only 2 points on the board. Not going to be able to get the flip here just for fun. Well, he's just gunning and running, buddy. Able to shut down another Toxic, getting in a 3-piece in the feed. So far, so good here for South Africa. Tempest already out at the ready. Toxic going to get shut down immediately. Finds 4 in the feed nonetheless. And Senegal getting bled dry here. You mentioned it earlier. This is maybe a, Animus versus Egypt matchup that we saw in our first series. Second series, looking like it might be the same case.
Yeah, it certainly does, doesn't it? They're going to try and get those back spawns in, and that's exactly what happens. Big kill coming through from No Limit. That's going to flip the spawns out in favor of Senegal. With 15 seconds left, though, you have to wonder the effectiveness of such a spawn flip. You've done it, but there's not really a lot of time to fight for, even if you do get a lot of time here. How disruptive are you really being? At the very least, you will turn the heads of the attention of South Africa towards the old hard point as the next one will pop. Senegal, opportunity to get first touch here. They should be good to get some time, but they have to follow up some kills.
Oh, there it is. Toxic. That's the player I've been looking for. He was kind of lurking in the top side. Finally going to get shut down. Backside's a little bit split. You've got the hill for the time being, but for how much longer can you hold it? Split's already out of the equation. It's down to Luke. He's the only player in the objective. Able to find one and plays his life to perfection. Now it's Toxic and crew. Looking to get a little hands-on, and surely enough, Spider, No Limit, Clover, it's a full feed of blue. Absolutely shut down. Supreme finally trying to get some kills there with the War Machine.
Yeah, this is just big kills coming through right now. Supreme, I really wanted a little bit more value out of the War Machine, and I think that's really been the tail of the tape right now from what South Africa and Senegal is. The operate utilization just hasn't been that fruitful for Senegal so far in this game, and things just go from bad to worse. Tier verdict, 20 seconds on the clock, and Senegal are pinned back towards their spawn. That is going to spell disaster as we look towards the next rotation, because Senegal, they're not even really getting to think about that rotation, right? They're just fighting tooth and nail for ultimately what is scrap time. Senegal in real danger here. You have to start getting control of a rotation sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I mean, they did a great job of getting the rotation earlier on in P3. Wasn't able to capitalize on too many of the points, though. Unfortunate, as you mentioned it, the operators not necessarily coming through in the way that they needed to have that impact to get the breaks or the holds to stay nonetheless. But we saddle up for P4. P3 is just a thought in the wind right now. Is again, the troubles here for Senegal. Starting early, continuing to progress throughout this first set of hills. They're getting outclassed, they're getting outgunned, they're getting out rotated, they're getting out. I mean, just everything looking bad for the time being. Let's see if they can turn things around with 30 seconds left to go here on P4.
We just got to start getting towards this hard point sooner or later. Supreme does have a Predator missile. That might be nice. I imagine Trophy System will stop it. Actually, it doesn't. So Trophy System down. Kill's now trying to go in favor of Senegal here. And well, all of a sudden, they get a look at a hard point. This last 20 seconds could be theirs, but it is only going to be a scratch on towards South Africa's lead that they build up at the moment. And even still, South Africa are fighting to try and get in and take that time away. Verdict, this is not good whatsoever. There's those couple of kills from Nundi and Danny. Nundi trying to follow up with another one. He's going to get shut out. And South Africa, even when Senegal look like they might have something to say in this game, almost immediately are silenced.
Yep, 141 to 29. This one, as close as you think it is, Chad. That's right. Senegal getting the bitter end of this one. And well, with a solid P1 start here for South Africa, it's just going to be the rich continuing to get richer. Just for fun, going to pop his, I would assume, just for fun. Hell, let's go ahead and just run it. Able to find one through the smoke. Nobody able to get connected on, but the test is going to come through. Supreme's going to get shut down, and just for fun, going to continue to willy-dally here with this this portable sentry gun. He is making mincemeat of him, adding damage, but not necessarily finding the kills. He really doesn't need to. His teammates are absolutely running the tables for the time being.
Yeah, things just go from bad to worse, don't they? For Senegal, I mean, again, the kill feed is just not in their favor whatsoever. Everything that it could possibly have gone wrong for Senegal has exactly done so, and now you're starting to see South Africa dump operators towards the hard points as well. Ops that normally you wouldn't see invested inside a P1, right? A Tempest is not a P1 operator whatsoever, and I think that just goes to show just how far ahead South Africa are in this game, that you can just use your operators without a care in the world.
Absolutely. No cares in the world here for the backside spawns. They've got them locked down. South Africa are here representing their country. Front side hit. It's going to be shut down. First wave of players. Hello, Danny. Yes, he's him. Two in the feed, rather. Looking to get pushed up. Yeah. Hello. Nobody there for a trade. That's tough. Equalizer going crazy, buddy. This one getting out of pocket and out of hand. Danny's finally going to end his tyrant tear, but damage is done. 197 and counting, 233. Nobody even get remotely close here for Senegal. I was hoping that this one would be, you know, a little more different, a little closer. Surely enough, we're getting robbed of that opportunity. Senegal, yet again, going to be shut down. Big kills coming through. Nonetheless, it's a South Africa feed. It's a South Africa objective theirs. They're just playing keep away at this point.
Yeah, again, there's only so many ways I can repackage, mate. South Africa are just beating Senegal down in the kill department, and Senegal, I mean, look at this decision they're making right now. 7 seconds on the clock, right? Normally in that situation, if you spawn out towards the back of P2, you're more likely than not going to fight through P2 to try and steal some time away. They are that desperate to try and get control of the rotation. They just full send it through towards the next hard point instead. Not a terrible decision. Also a pretty good investment of the death machine as well to try and guarantee those back spawns. But now this is where South Africa, they're going to start to build up some of that utility they built up through the game so far.
Yep, we'll see it. This is the comeback. This is where it has to happen. 226-48. Gravity vortex out. Pop. Okay, maybe would have held on to that last shot nonetheless. You've still got the feed in yellow. You've still got the objective for the time being. Just for fun, looking to just ruin your day. Mighty Luke, though, coming through for a two-piece. Is going to be able to hold on to the objective. Nundy, hello. Yes, up close and personal, buddy. Him and Toxic, a dangerous duo as they sweep the objective. P3 locked down yet again. Can't close it out here. Question mark. Maybe if we don't see a contest, we'll see a guaranteed P4. It's looking like it might be the case.
Yep, we are definitely going to see the next hard point. I just don't know for how long it's going to stay active. Obviously, there's got a grace period. 8 seconds left, and Toxic adding insult to injury. Oh, Toxic, what is this? Just a couple of seconds. Senegal, you're going to stop him.
Not the case. 250-64. Chat. South Africa manhandling Senegal here in our first map of this last matchup of the night and of the weekend. Combine. An absolute bloodbath again. We've mentioned it before. This is one of those maps where, you know, even if you don't have the best hardpoint team, you can see some mixy results. This just isn't the case. 40-24 for Toxic. He did exactly what his name is, and he was just toxic as hell to the opponents. Shoddy, the Death Machine, or not the Death Machine. What do you have? A Tempest. Pretty much run a gauntlet for himself.
Yeah, I mean, just what do you say, really? 40 kills, I think, is indicative of just how good of a player Toxic is very clearly. Also, almost a minute inside the hard point. Danny sitting there at 36 and 18 as well. I mean, ultimately, this is Combine, right? And I think, you know, Combine kind of lends itself to stacking yourselves in towards the hard point. But I think it's quite telling the fact that almost everybody in that game from South Africa had almost a minute inside the hard point, right? So I think that's a real telling thing for sure. Just how much everybody was kind of dumping in towards the hard point at all times, making sure that hard points were going in South Africa's favor. And that means that they're now 1-0 up in this best of 3. We now go back towards Fire Range, Search and Destroy for the second time today here, Verdict, and we saw just how much of a momentum boost winning game number 1 in that kind of fashion can give to the team that is up in the series going into a Fire Range, Search and Destroy. And to be honest with you, I can't imagine we see anything different from South Africa here.
Yeah, I mean, we could paint a picture of a comeback here in this series, and you know, and just try to build that storyline up for you guys and keep it engaging. But let's be realistic. I mean, I like to be as optimistic as the next man, but realistically speaking, you just I just don't see hope in that happening. I'd love to see a few rounds swing in favor of Senegal's way, but at the end of the day, I'm not very hopeful for them taking this map and going to that game three. Um, but nonetheless, there's an opportunity there when you're faced against opponents like South Africa, who are significantly better in their gun skill, their craft, their rotations. Obviously, there's going to be a struggle in any game mode.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Ultimately, it's skill diff, right? That's how these things go. It's worth saying though. I will say all it takes is one good player. Like we had Dobby in the last game, right?
Yes.
For Egypt, all it takes is one player to kind of pick things up a little bit, and you do have a mildly competitive game on your hands, right? So I think somebody from Senegal could 100% step up here and make things interesting versus South Africa. I just don't know who that's going to be. I'd imagine, to be honest, just given the way Search and Destroy works in this game, it's probably going to be your Tundra player, right? I mean, whoever the Tundra player is on this team, that is probably the player that will be trying to play well here in the Search and Destroy. So if that player can pick things up, whoever that is, that's the guy I think that you really need to kind of see make the name for Senegal in this one. If they want any chance at seeing a crossfire control, it has to be your sniper rifle player that start picking up kills here in this one.
Oh, you're absolutely right, especially on a map like Fire Range. Just classic. The two go hand in hand better than beans and toast, right? I don't think that you can name a better combo. I couldn't say that with a straight face, man. I'm trying to maintain composure.
He said it, guys.
I said it. I said it. I go ahead and clip it. Put it on Twitter. Put it on God, whatever the hell you guys watch nowadays. But yeah, I think who we should be watching 100% is going to be, who's connecting those clips, who's connecting those snipes. That Tundra are completely overpowered.
100%.
In a great way. Not a bad way.
You know what? When we saw the list of bans and stuff before champs, I was convinced that the Tundra was going to be out. I was like, wow, the Tundra's going to be out of the meta for the first time since I started casting COD Mobile in 2023. It hadn't been meta for that long. Yep, because I remember
you got to give the people what they want, man. Come on.
Well, people were talking people were saying, oh, it's gonna be the Locust, I think, was the weapon that people were using alternatively. I was like, oh, that would be really interesting to see not the Tundra in the freaking meta, right? The Locust could be pretty interesting. No, it's still. I would like to see a shake-up of the meta in COD Mobile, because right now I think it's getting I don't want to say stale, but I do think it's getting rather uninteresting in a way that it's kind of molded around shotguns and sniper rifles in S&D. I think especially at the highest levels, I would love to see a mix-up of things. I would love to see a change of the meta in some kind of way, because man, those things really do just dominate in it. It doesn't even really matter what your SMGs and your ARs are doing, because your marksman and heavy players just do everything in S&D. At least that's how it feels.
All I'll say is don't hold your breath, bud. We literally came through with another mainline COD title, and we still have, in ranked lobbies, the USS just ruining players' days and their, hopes of progressing and getting better. Yeah, those things, in an open rank lobby like that is just absolutely disgusting. But don't hold your breath. I would love to see a mix up. I would love to see, some kind of transition for this COD mobile community to look forward to. In regard to meta, what we're looking forward to in this matchup is, if you're a Senegal fan, for it just be over, because after that hard point, you got bloodbath. But if you're a South African fan, you're here for the bludgeoning. We'll see if they can handle business in a 2-0 fashion, or if we will get a game 3 before the week's over. Brody, how incredible would that be, bud?
Hey, listen, it would be fun to see a game 3. That's all I'm saying. I just want to see a crossfire control. I don't know if we're actually going to see a crossfire control, but it would be fun. I think it really depends on this first kind of round, and almost immediately that's a big one to lose right off the rip, right? We know how important trailer control is. Now you've got a shotgun player inside for South Africa. Senegal, they are going to find it really difficult to break this A site now, and I got to imagine even with that snipe, I would really be focusing on making transitional speed, because you do not have any A control.
You said it earlier. Maybe a shakeup in the meta. Locust out at the ready here for Logan. Maybe he knows something we don't know. He's already connected on one. On the flip side of things, I definitely do see Clover there with the Tundra as well as No Limit. Here comes the smash. Over towards the A side. Logan going to be able to miss the first shot. Second, not so fast, my friend. Still one to deal with on that long sight, but it's down to 2 players. Make it 1. As Toxic continue to ring. Terra, they're just playing with their food at this point.
Nice work. Get ready for the next round.
Yeah, just again, South Africa get control of so many power positions early on in that round. Senegal find themselves stuck in the mud and not really able to move whatsoever. It's a tale as old as time.
Destroy the objective.
And Senegal
got
not
the
able
bomb.
to get anything going in that round. Only No Limit will find any kills. So now South Africa once again in the opening engagement. Big one once again for Toxic. And once again, it is Toxic who wins that one. Senegal, though, this is a good response. Just get yourself straight towards A. Try and win the round out from there.
See if they can take advantage of it. Got to clear this player out of trailer. No, you got to clear the barrels player too, Logan, at a distance. Nundy and crew just getting absolutely mixy with it. Supreme left up top to shoot. Surely enough, can't get a single kill. 2 rounds in a row. South Africa coming through, handling business off the rip. And, I mean, yeah, this is getting ugly here quick. Hopefully Senegal can figure something out. I mean, the smash over to the A side I love, but, I mean, the gunsmanship just not there.
Yeah, it's the same thing as always. Senegal need to try and change things up pretty consistently in this round. This is a different look for them. They're going to hit B. They're not going to have to worry about Toxic off the rip here, but it is still going to... You need to play numbers. You need to be faster than this one because now South Africa, they've had time to react, and now Toxic's over here.
Toxic's got a gun. Look at that. Shoddy baby HSO. Shake things up. Supreme finally. Going to be able to end his terror just for fun. Going to be able to find the trade, and that's going to leave Clover down to his lonesome. Not happening. No dice. 3 rounds. Rock solid. South Africa still on top.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's small things like that, right? Where you've made a decision to try and do something different. You're going to hit B. You know that you're going to catch South Africa off guard in doing that, and they just don't have the conviction to follow through with that plan. They don't full send it in towards B. They give South Africa the time to get back towards the site. And now you're back to sort of plan A, right? Which is literally getting control of the A side. It's not going to work. Toxic, off screen, finds a couple of kills. Now just down to No Limit. 1v4. Have fun, buddy.
Yeah, this man's just not letting him have any fun. Toxic as hell. 3-4. He's got 10 kills. Jesus Christ, man. Slow down. Slow down. Let your teammates have some fun, too.
Yeah, this is interesting, shall we say. Senegal.
Is that what
look,
you would call it? Is that interesting?
I don't think I'm allowed to say what I would call it.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I would get told off for saying what I would call it. How many times are we going to see this fight, though? Toxic is... Toxic. All right, he's nerfed
Bobby
himself.
stunned.
He's nerfed himself. He's Bobby stunned. Let's try and get the kill. Never mind. We're just past the point of even challenging Toxic at this point because you know you're going to lose. And oh my god, the HSO. Why does it have that range?
He was one shot, but I don't know how you don't ADS and still get that kill. That's crazy. They should nerf this thing into the ground. Shotgun players, I don't care. Come at me. What are you going to do? Pull out your shotty?
Exactly.
Toxic pulls out here. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm just going to continue to rant on about how bad I hate shotties, but HSO obviously just completely broken here in the competitive scene.
100%. Now down to a 2v3 here. South Africa. I think a 2v2 on site. Clover is well removed from this one. And oh god, Toxic's getting aggressive. Toxic is really feeling his help. You can see that on the minimap. Now it's down to Nundy, who can wait patiently here. He could definitely spoil this entire party.
Oh. Spoils the first. Bomb carrier going to get taken down. Spider there for the trade, though. We got a round in favor of Senegal. Let's go. 5 rounds through. They've been able to strike gold here in firing range. Will they be able to continue that same threat? Only 1 round here left on the attack. They're just starting to get the swing of things. Maybe we'll start to see that pendulum, swing back into the favor of, the underdogs here.
Yeah, it is difficult, isn't it? Senegal, you've got to follow up with success now. You've traded things out, and you've got site control. Now you just got to get the lock down. Like, that is literally all you've got to do in this situation. And you are playing with the aggression of South Africa. You're doing pretty well right now. Yes, you've got a mana advantage, but you have site control. Just get the bomb down. Just get the bomb down, and you will be fine, guys. I promise if you get the bomb down, you will win this round.
Exactly. 3v4 with the bomb down completely nixes the player disadvantage, right? Well, you got an even man advantage. You still haven't gotten the rock down, but I think the calls are finally starting to come through. Player number 5 is going to be the player to watch here on the outskirts. If he gets too aggressive here, he's going to pay the price. Surely enough, just for fun. Whiffs, though. Very unfortunate, but his location now going to be given away still going to be able to hold the back line time being. 2v3, 30 seconds on the clock. Just for fun and crew. Going to have to make a run at it. Player number 5 in a gunfight. No limit. Going to be able to take out that. And surely enough, you can't pull out the 3v1.
Oh my god, would you believe it? If you get the bomb down when you've got site control, you too at home could win a round of search and destroy. And that's exactly what Senegal have just done. Yeah, you get the man advantage. You're actually starting to win some of these fights at the beginning of the round now, and things are definitely changing for Senegal. South Africa now on the offense, though. We'll see how they fare. If they can really set the tone here in their first round on offense, it could definitely change things. But you've actually lost that fight. Not just one, but two inside the trailer. And you've lost the bomb carrier as well. It really feels like Toxic at the beginning of these rounds have been the key to success for South Africa. And now he's off the board.
Just for fun, still alive, though. 2v5, 2v4. Quick there for the trades. They're just going to hold down the lanes, wait for anybody to get aggressive. And, well, Senegal, they send one to get a little bit of information and to pay the price. Right now, they're not going to do that. They're going to pay respects here to South Africa and hold down the fort. Rushing over towards this A side. I think the bomb's been spotted, and that is going to be pretty much all 4 players on the defending side converging either in the middle of the lane or on towards that site effectively. And a big gunfight about to be happening there. And player number 1, Logan, going to get shut down. So all down to Just for Fun. We'll see if he can figure something out before time expires. Only 50 seconds left to go. He's got to collect the bomb. He's got to take out 4 players. He's already taking shots. Ain't happening.
Lost that round, but it's not over
Yeah,
yet.
I mean, again, First Bloods have been pivotal to Senegal here in this search and destroy in their comeback. They were, what, 3-0, 4-0 down at the start of this S&D. So for Senegal now to put these kind of rounds on the bounce in the way that they have has been pretty phenomenal. And South Africa, I mean, they might start want to get it creative with these early S&D, right? Do something a little bit different, and I think this is different. They are playing somewhat more passively here. They're trying to let Senegal put their pieces on the board before making their move. And now the call has been made. You've got 1 player to do it. If you can get rid of Spider, it is a free path to beat.
Oh, I don't like this play. He's got aggressive. He's already been sniffed out. There's no support either. No trade going to happen. And you catch him out of position in a perfect spot. I mean, obviously, you got to wait for that trap to be set. Pay the price by being too aggressive. They've cleared side out. This is South Africa's chance to pounce. Only 1 player left to deal with. Is Danny's be able to find a 2-piece just for fun. Going to be able to find the wall bang. And just like that, kind of exactly what we saw in our first matchup of the night. 3 rounds go in favor of the underdog. And then the team that you would expect to win start to take back in control. And it's kind of what we're seeing here in this one, too.
Yeah, I agree. It's very difficult, I think, to envisage now things changing. South Africa have got their groove back, and now you've got the first kill already coming through from Logan in towards this round. Senegal, same kind of setup now. Man disadvantage, and oh god, it keeps getting worse. South Africa have found the perfect way to respond to that aggression from Senegal, and it is to play patient-like in their spawn. They've been given a couple of freebies, and now they've got a free site to work with as well. This is about to go from bad to worse for the Senegal roster.
Oh boy, just for fun. He's been the point man for a reason. 7 kills to his name. Able to find one there. Supreme going to be able to make it a little interesting. 2v4 up for grabs. Bomb's going to go down nonetheless. 2 players got to make this smash happen. And surely enough, it's going to be anticipated. Over towards that American site. They're going to funnel on through. 3 players inside the trailer. Could cause for a disruption, but Supreme and Spider. And there it is right there. Clean shot there from Just. And he's going to be able to collect the last one, too. Nope, Supreme going to be able to take him down.
It's all just down to Supreme in the 1v3. There isn't really a lot of time to make this one happen, so it feels like this is a foregone conclusion. Supreme going to pick up one, but even if he picks up either of these 2 gunfights now, he does not have enough time for those kills and the defuse. So South Africa, couple of rounds in the exact same way. Playing patient gets them the dub just for fun. Has had much more of an active role in these offensive efforts than Toxic did in their defense. And now South Africa are just 1 round away from completing our last 2-0 of the week.
And what better way to do it than to smash that B lane? Supreme lurking, snaking, is going to get taken down. Does find 1 2-for-2 trades coming through the site. Not necessarily cleared as of yet, and they don't want to make a complete investment. But on the back end, we've got Clover, who's going to disrupt a lot. That's going to be the bomb carrier down. He gets 2. Went on a massive rotation, and it's down to Logan here for the 1v3. A lot of time still to play.
Yeah, Logan's had a pretty active role in this S&D. 9 kills to his name. He's got to be careful. That
What
nade?
the-
Oh my god, bro. We had a Bobby stun and a Bobby nade. All in one game of Call of Duty. Would you Adam and Eve it? Now he's on the hunt for the kills. In 60 seconds, he's making a ton of noise. I gotta imagine Senegal will know exactly where he is sooner rather than later.
Oh, it doesn't matter, Logan. He's piecing. Don't give it away for free, Clover.
Wait.
Oh, wait. Hello? All right. Hey, if you would have hit that, buddy, I would have had to do something crazy on stream. Ridiculous. Okay, HSO does not miss up close and personal. Clover, a one-man wrecking crew, literally steamrolling them from behind in the back alley, finds that last kill. Senegal still alive here in the search to destroy.
Defend the objectives. We have the bomb.
I really thought for a second that our last round was going to end with a shot through the wall. Not to be. That's Logan actually out of the round this time, and Clover's getting aggressive. Follow him. Another one. That's huge. Oh my god. W Observer catching that nade just for fun. We'll get the double, and all of a sudden what looked like a real positive round for Senegal has completely fallen away from them. So all just down. We see Cream and Spider, and they have to make a wild decision here. Do they double up on a bomb site and just give the one up for free? It feels like that's the only way to play this.
It looks like the case. They're going to be stacking an armory. Looking for anybody who's going to make that peak just for fun.
Bomb has been planted.
Not going to stick around for long. Bomb's going to go down. Danny on site effectively. 2 players in the trailer. This is a damn near impossible mission. Senegal, what do you got in the tank? This is it. The end of the line here in this particular series. Will it be a 2-0? Will this be where it ends? Cross not going to be spotted as of yet. Danny there finally going to be able to get a glimpse. And surely enough to push. It's got to come at some point, but none of you going to be able to take down one. That might be it. Supreme getting hunted by the remaining 3 players. Shot's going to come through. None of you going to be able to end the train or the trail of terror. And it's a 7-4 victory. South Africa. Hello.
Hello, South Africa. They have made their entrance into the competition just like that. Dominant victory for them. Just like with the last series as well, the Search and Destroy offers up a little bit more complexity than maybe the Hardpoint does. But ultimately, it is still the 2-0, despite the fact that we did see some kind of answer back from Senegal. So congratulations to South Africa. They will take the series 2-0. We take a look at the scoreboard there at the end of the game. And yeah, that pretty much covers it. 4 players on the South African roster, all in double digits. Toxic. Actually, interesting kind of tidbit here. Was on 11 kills at the end of round number 6. So it didn't get a single kill on their offensive efforts. I think everybody else kind of picked things up for South Africa. So kind of interesting there. Toxic, pivotal to those defenses, but on the offense, didn't really do that much.
Hey, you know what? I told him that, you know, he had to slow it down. So he may have, you know, taken note for me and it's like, you know what, Verdict, you're right. I just got to let my teammates have fun too. Yeah, it's just so dang toxic running around with that HSO. So, you know, to kind of just, you know, help him out a little bit. You know, I did tell him to take a step back. Nonetheless, that is going to be it for our second and last matchup of the week, man. We've got plenty of UCE Nations Cups matches coming up next week. Should be a blast. I mean, some of the matchups that we have coming up. Come on, enlighten me. Who we got? Who we got to look forward to?
We got Saudi Arabia versus Germany. That should be a fun one. That's going to be on Monday over in Group A. We have England versus Spain, which is a matchup that, obviously, if you're English, watching the World Cup is never a fun one. That's on Tuesday over in Group B. On Wednesday, we'll have Poland versus Russia as well. So, some interesting matchups on the docket as we move forward into week number 2. Of course, the big thing you guys do need to know about week number 2 is that by the end of the week, pretty much we will have at least one team from every single group moving forward into the playoff bracket with their second victory under their belt. Short of any kind of major surprises with the way round robin works, we'll pretty much know at least half of the field into the playoff bracket for the final week of play. With that said, before we go, Verdict, any final thoughts here on what we saw today?
Oh, no, it's pretty